Good morning. We're live. Hi, Lawrence.
Hi, Dana.
Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show, everybody. We messed up our order. I said your name first. I don't know what to do with myself.
Right. Yeah, oh my God. It's all crazy. It's all a mess.
I know. I'm
That's my
realizing
best friend.
that's
Although,
my
where
that's
will
my
you
best
be
friend,
in the recording?
right? Who knows where we end up? I think, Lawrence, on since I'm on top, since I'm the one who opened the conversation, that maybe I go to the left of the three. No.
No. No. So when there are three of us, you will be in the middle. The
Oh,
person
wait.
who owns the live always ends up in the middle.
You know what? You think after like 100 and however many lives we've done, I would know that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Morgan. Morgan is noting that I'm wearing my queer as fuck t-shirt.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I'm
I
wearing
figured it was perfect for speaking with motherfuck today.
right. That you really brought it. I think I'm kind of clashy here because I have a black cardigan with a pattern. I'm not liking it. I'm going to take it off. When you get dressed in the dark here, you just I,
As one does in Seattle during the fall and encroaching winter months.
the sun is just starting to come up. That's why my lighting is different now because I used to rely on the window. And now I cannot, so I have an overhead light. But look at this. Plain black cardigan. Much better. See?
Much better.
I'm such a Girl Scout. I came prepared either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great, and my hair is still wet from last night, so everything is discombobulated. But we get to talk to Motherfucked today, a writer I've been enjoying on Substack, gosh, kind of since I got here all those months ago. She is hilarious. She's wise. She's ballsy. I guess that's
Right. Salty.
what's a salty maybe? What's a non-gendered word? She's audacious. Let's just say that.
I don't think salty is gendered, is it?
No, I said ballsy, so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
gender.
Uh,
Salty is good to go.
Fabulous. Yeah. You know what I love most about her writing is she's one of those writers where you can tell, oh, this is a professional writer. This is somebody who's literally spent their career writing.
Yeah, there's a
And
crack,
even her like funny, irreverent stuff is just like chef's kiss,
right?
on point, perfect.
Yeah, that
Are we talking about any of the crazy shit going on in the world right now before
I think
we?
we should, but because I don't think she's here yet. I haven't seen her join. Have you?
Not yet.
Okay, I got to get the
But
chat open.
motherfucked, if you hear, give us a shout in the. You know what? Um, Fuck, she could be having the same trouble joining that I had this morning.
All right, let me message her and say,
Oh, she's here. She's here.
"Oh,
Hooray!
perfect! Hi. All right, we're gonna bring you on in just a couple minutes." Lawrence, what have we got at the top of the hour that we need to talk about? Which of the
Oh, I
crazy
don't know.
things?
How about some dude who is now in hiding and has lawyers apparently is going to release Speaker Mike Johnson's Grinder profile
Grinder.
unless
It's
he
not right.
seats Adelita Gravala, the newly elected rep from Arizona. I mean,
It's
could this just be any
it's
more peak
wrong to
2025?
it's wrong to out people though,
No.
Lauren.
Uh, as a
I'm
gay
just
man,
kidding.
I'm telling you, it is wrong to out somebody who is just living their life. But when it comes to Republican
Yeah.
politicians, out those motherfuckers, especially
I,
Mike Johnson, like that fucking creepy dude. You know what? The thought of Mike Johnson taking dicks, like, literally just turned me straight. So, like, for
oh,
that crime alone, out the
right.
motherfucker. He's such
That's
a
a hit.
fucking asshole. If this is indeed true, it should be the biggest. I mean, everything should be the biggest scandal, but Jesus
Right.
Christ.
I, yeah, I posted that one yesterday, Lawrence. I think it was Dean Blundell who wrote a story about it, and I shared it. Oh, I'm not using my whatever mug today. I wish I were, but I have my right drunk edit sober mug, which I feel like Motherfucked will appreciate. Um, I saw Dean Blundell posted a story about it yesterday, and I shared it and said something like, "I've never been so excited at the idea of someone being outed," and I was being a little tongue in cheek because it is wrong to out people, but not when they're asshole people.
Right.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, because, sometimes I'm a half step behind on the news, we have the votes now in the House to get the
Yeah.
Epstein
So
files.
we need 218. There were 217. And when Adelita Gravala in
Yeah.
Arizona won her special election, she became the 200. That she said that she would be the 218th vote on the discharge petition.
Right.
And
Probably
and
helped her
now,
win. I mean, I would
yeah,
even people should have crossed the party lines to make that happen. But continue.
yeah. So, when it became clear that she had won, Mike Johnson suddenly decided that he would not seat her, and in fact has delayed the official return to Congress until next week. Like, it's just
How can he do that?
because he's the Speaker of the House, and the Speaker of the House makes its own rules. Like, the Constitution does not have explicit instructions on how to run Congress. It basically says, Congress, your first rule is figure out how you're going to run Congress. And then
Okay.
each house, the House and the Senate, each basically have that same discretion, which is make your own rules, figure out your own operational procedures. And so over time and tradition and US code and whatnot, like the House has made up its own rules where the Speaker is
Okay.
massively empowered to do whatever he or she wants to do.
That is just wild. Um, so he could theoretically just like, how long can he delay it though? Like there has to be a rule that once someone's elected, they have to.
Well, I mean, the government is about to shut down tomorrow. If
That's
all he
true.
needs to do is delay through the end of the day today, and then the government shuts down tomorrow, and then, oh, let's see, then the government is closed, and a bunch of people lose their jobs, and
Mm-hmm.
the National Board of Labor Statistics, whatever it's called, basically can't release their September numbers, which means they can't show that there's a second month of economic decline, which would mean that we would officially be in a recession. Like all this shit just kind of jigsaw
Right.
puzzles together for the fucking Republicans.
And I've been reading, thanks to Rosie the Resistor, um, that there is no budget either. That like they haven't really. They've been like, oh, that thing. We're not even going to bother writing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. There hasn't been an official budget in 50 years. We've been running on continuing resolutions for 5 decades. Like that
I mean,
itself is a giant crime for which all members of Congress should, fucking suck it.
lose their jobs, suck it. Yeah, let's just say suck it. That's nicer this morning. So yeah, what so, so by Friday when we gather for our first fucked up Friday in 2 weeks, we've got like a backlog
We've got a total backlog.
and perhaps no longer a functioning government.
Yeah, I mean, almost certainly not a functioning government. Yep. Yep. I feel like we should bring Motherfucked in because she's
Yeah,
itching in the chat to join us.
I
She
think
said
we
she
should
can't
too.
wait. And I can't wait to talk to her. I am seriously so excited. We've been following her for ages at this point.
Same. And Lawrence, I don't know if it's because I'm now using a Mac, but I'm refreshing and refreshing the GenX.io homepage and I can't find our chat.
Why, hi.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
It's so nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much. I was blushing earlier and I had to kind of add a little foundation to
to cover.
Same
get
girl.
Loretto.
Same.
Yeah.
You look amazing. Would you like us to? How should we refer to you? Do you want us to use your first
Oh,
name?
for fuck's sake, just call me Viv. Yeah.
Okay.
Mother,
All right.
your mother is like my Sasha Fierce. It's like that's my nom de plume, whatever, but it's
Nice.
Yeah. Oh my
Substack
God.
branding purposes. It's not like for real, for real. So now that I'm here in 3D and this is who I am, yes, I am.
Hi, Viv.
Fuck, hi. You can.
It is.
I don't really give a shit. And oh my God, I hadn't heard about that Mike Johnson stuff because I was at a Renee Rapp show last night of my own volition.
Nice. Because you can be Gen X and still go out and do fun things.
Fuck yeah!
Which we're
So
going to talk about a lot.
yeah. No, yeah, we have a lot of ground to cover. And we can go freeform, but I love the two of you already. So let's just get that off the table.
Oh my
And that
gosh.
Mike
Excellent.
Johnson
The feeling
news.
is entirely mutual.
I have a
Yeah.
theory that I think you guys will appreciate, and that's like behind everyone who doth protest too much about queer rights, LGBTQIA rights.
Yeah.
There's a twink in the trunk of their car.
Oh yeah.
So,
Right.
And a grinder profile.
bound and gagged.
Yeah. A
So I
twink
am
in the
not
trunk
surprised.
and kind of dead or alive, sort of depending on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Lindsey Graham.
Oh my God.
There are
Yeah.
so many people,
Lady
like,
G.
why do you care what someone does with their personal life? Like, unless it's going to profit you somehow, that's what their motivations are. Money, money, money.
Yeah.
As the whole Disney thing has proven, if we all band together and really put our boots
Cut
into
$4 billion worth of market value off of their off of their capitalization, they'll change their minds.
That's it. That's
Quickly.
it. You got to lose votes. You got to lose money. Why am I paying taxes? I'm paying taxes for this. Like, how can we organize and let people know that we're not happy with what is going on? And the injustice of it all is particularly.
Oh, yeah. Stephanie's saying in the chat, I think it must be worse with Lady G than just being gay. And I kind of feel the same. Like, if Lindsey Graham was only gay at this point, I feel like he could have come out and it would have all been okay. It must be something like outlandish, right? Like, I feel like there's got to be
a rumor. Let's just start
a P-tape or something.
There's also, I have I actually know people who have been through the deprogramming and the religious, like all of the pressure. It's just a societal pressure. You can react one of two ways to it. You can choose yourself and choose to be yourself. And I think that's a lifelong discovery that we all have to do. But especially as a queer person, I would imagine that you have to. I'm hetero cis, but, have family. So for real and chosen. So I am always advocating. I'm a very loud advocate. So if you are in a place where you need to tell someone else how to live, like, what are you denying in yourself? And why are you not, how much do you hate yourself to do that? Like, and you have to look at why you hate yourself and deal with that instead of projecting everything,
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, heterosis is a disease. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like dick. This is why I'm a gay man in the head.
Oh my God, I love you already. Let's talk about penises.
You too, honey. Your shirt.
Yeah.
We talk about this a lot, right? That I feel like Gen X in particular, like we are the generation that's realizing, oh, hey, we all have trauma of some kind or another. And it's sort of our job as people to figure out and deal with our own trauma so that we don't project it onto other people or pass it on to the next generation.
Well, yeah, the evolved Gen Xers, but like what I'm learning, I mean, you guys are in Seattle, right? Or like the Seattle metropolitan area.
Dana's in Seattle. I was there for 30 years. I'm now in Indiana because my mom is 84 and I
see.
Back here to help out.
That's a very loving and commendable act. And there are so many of us. Sorry, my eyeliner, I look like crazy.
Yeah, no, my eye bags. If anybody seriously has a real like eye bag tightening cream that works, please DM me. I need it desperately.
Oh my God. Have you seen those Plexiderm ads?
Yes, I'm obsessed. Like, does it actually work?
I really want to write an article about that. I want to get someone to pay me to use Plexiderm.
Why are we not influencers? Let's put it out there, Plexiderm.
I know.
Yeah, come on, Plexiderm. You've got 3 people right here.
3 Gen Xers who want to try your product.
We'll show up next week, extra snatched. And,
right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll do this again, but we'll be like super.
Yes. I want to be like,
hey guys, welcome to my channel. I have to tell you, and you have to hold the product sort of like,
oh, yes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. These matches are phenomenal. Yeah, not just saying that. They're not even paying me. I love these matches, and I want all of you to see the amazing things these matches can do.
Here's what I was before the matches, and you
right.
am after.
Right. Yeah.
On fire. We haven't even introduced you yet, man. We gotta. Oh God, did I just? Oh, here it is. No. I
have a big mouth, obviously.
No. The best lives are when it's like, oh, we've known you forever already. The second you showed up,
good.
And that's what this feels like. I do want to pause and say, I have some notes here from you. You are a veteran entertainment and culture writer. You cover psychology and women's health. And I do have to say some outstanding Gen X rants.
Thank you.
You author Motherfucked Substack, and you've contributed to, get this list, Vanity Fair, The Cut, Dame, Oprah, Oprah Daily, the Los Angeles Times, and countless other publications over the past 20 years. That is an impressive list. The Cut is one of my, I've never tried to get published in The Cut, but I have aspirations. It's always so racy.
It's
So racy.
possible, but it is run by young millennials. I'm just
Yeah,
letting you know.
it
It's
has to
hard.
be
It's a
like,
hard. For me.
oh,
It was hard to. I've done it a bunch of times, but they are very discerning. I feel like they have the right to be, because they know who their audience is. They've shifted a lot in the past 5 years from what they were to, like, Lindsay Peoples' vision of it, which is incredibly young and fresh and relevant and smart, but they do try to include our POV every so often, which I greatly appreciate.
it's only going to happen if I get far more sexually adventurous, because it's going to have to be like,
Yeah.
Gen X mom of teens hooks
I'll
up with,
Cyrano for you.
right?
You can just
They're always,
strandify my adventures, and I'll Cyrano for you.
the headline, the voice of it is always the same. It's like, I don't know, redheaded podcaster, like, cheats on spouse, hooks up with, rock star on weekend binge. Like,
Like the provocative. And you know
yes,
what? Like, I'm past that point in my life where I'm like, I don't know.
we're still
Everything
having
I'm
fun, but
thinking
maybe
is
not that
too
much fun.
dirty to say out loud.
Not on this show.
Go.
Where I'm having, like, I'm in a skewer in a barn. Like, that's not what I'm doing. But at the same
Not
time,
anymore.
no,
Right, Viv? Wink, wink. Not
there are walls that could
since
talk,
last
but they're
week.
not talking. They're torn down, sadly. The walls that could talk no longer exist. But yeah, I mean, you really have to kind of come at it with you got to hit on something that's gonna also resonate with millennials, and you can't age yourself too much in your stories. Every once in a while, they'll enjoy a wisdom piece, but it's very, very rare.
No, they want to hear about exploits, and
Yeah.
maybe it's time to go on some
The
exploits.
sauce gets the clicks. That's the thing. The sauce gets the clicks. Sorry.
Yeah.
It does, and you can't. I mean, I can't actually read their content because I don't pay for it. So it's very clickbaity, though. That I'm like, oh, I want to know what happened when she, did her weekend getaway with her hot admin at work.
It's worth the subscription because they have amazing profile pieces, which I would love to write. But you don't always, publishing is a weird, dicey place for people our age. So,
as a side note, can I just say that thank God phones and ubiquitous cameras were not a thing when we were in our 20s and 30s.
oh my God.
I kind of can't imagine what these generations are going to grow up with. Like, oh yeah, no, here's that video of you in a skewer in the bar when you were 22.
Yeah, the haunting is going to be real.
Right. America, I want you to get used to the idea that, if in fact we ever have free elections again, a president whose genitals we have seen in a sex tape is an inevitability. Like, there's going to be some future president who it's like, I did make that sex tape when I was 22, and I'm proud that
you're gonna have to own it. Buckle
right, you're gonna have to
yeah. Look at me, I'm gorgeous, right? Like,
I did take all those dicks in that bar.
Yeah, al fresco situations everywhere. But
Dan
we'll
Savage
be
has said
entertained.
totally.
In the clubhouse where Wang Chung is playing, we will be entertained.
Right.
Oh
right.
gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As we're in our wheelchairs and they're playing Wang Chung and we're just like, oh my God, do I have to hear this song one more fucking time?
That's my nightmare about having to live in like a group setting when I'm older, like assisted living or worse, memory care, is they're going to start playing music from like our era. And I'm going to be like, I hate this fucking shit.
And it's going to be bad. Like,
it's going to be like
the thing.
The
it's going to be
worst
bad.
kind of music.
Right. Because they're going to pick like
when we're
pop
in the
hits of the
supermarket,
80s.
we hear that shit. We've been music. relegated
my God.
anyway. I mean, a lot
Right?
of the crap. I mean, hopefully, and you hear surprising things like Roxy Music in the supermarket, and I'm like, that's my band. Like,
Right. Right. Seriously, no, I was like, wait a minute, they're playing Roxy music? Like
right
Avalon? Like, come on.
at Safeway, like,
At Safeway, bro, like, come on,
Right.
man.
How do you guys
No.
even
No,
know
that's
this
my I'm
song?
lighting some candles and we're getting intimate music. Not in the
yeah.
Safeway, not in front of
Well,
my salad.
what was alternative is no longer like it's kind of all been made thank you to digital music, but we've the playing field has been leveled, which I'm actually really glad about because a lot of I find my kids and their generation, they don't we were all hung up on genres and liner notes and like we used music as a way to figure out if our friends were cool. Like if you liked the same
Yeah.
bands that I liked, we immediately had something in common and we had something to talk about, not just from a oral AURAL point of view, but
Yep.
also from a cultural point of view. You know, if you were a goth, you were a
That's
goth, you were
sartorial.
alternative, you wanted to explore other means and ways of living. You didn't fear the dark side. You usually didn't fear drugs. And some did, some didn't, maybe. But like kids can pick and choose now. Everything is built by song, it's not built by sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, but who were you back in the day? Were
Oh my
you like
God. I
were you
was
the new
an
waver?
aspiring musician, so I was
Oh,
into all of it. I was into everything. I mean, I went through a period initially where when I first discovered alternative music, I was like 12 or 13, I would say 11. Well, I always loved it because it played on the mainstream. I grew up in the Boston area where
oh, I
Boston
was
radio.
born in that area.
Really? Were you born?
Lynn Hospital,
Lynn, City of
City of
Sin,
Sin.
home of WFNX, one of
Yeah.
my old
Oh,
radio
okay.
stations.
Does it
Mm.
never come out the way you came in? And
Yeah.
there's some more vulgar version of that. I think we
Yeah,
lived in
yeah.
the North Shore, but I moved to Florida before I turned 4, so I lost the
Oh.
accent very young.
Yeah,
But
I still got it. It
I can
depends
hear
on
it.
who I'm
Yeah,
talking to. Yeah, it really does depend on who I'm talking to. I can code switch
right.
away, but the Boston thing is real. But there was Boston radio was a real thing, and there was this radio station that I ended up interning at in my late teens and early 20s called WBCN, and they covered everything. You would
I
hear
remember
Bowie.
WDCN. Yeah.
Yeah, you would hear Bowie, but you would also hear like more cutting edge alternative music and depending on where you danced about the dial, and I just really fell in love with certain things like Marianne Faithfull's Broken English. I always thought was like a compelling track, even though I was really young. The Human League, when Human League went to #1, I took it as a personal victory. Like,
Excellent.
I was such a music geek and really, really, really loved it. And I still think music is my first love and primary love in so many ways. I think the art form that makes you cry is the one that resonates the most with you. And I think for me,
Mhm.
music is the most visceral art form. Except now I sing in the shower and I sing in the car, but that's pretty much it.
Oh, yeah. I I I do not sing in front of people. Dana is an inveterate karaokeer. Like, she will not rest
Word.
until she is karaokeed. So, Viv, we normally ask a question at the end of the show of all of our guests, but it's really, really appropriate right here.
Get in
And
there.
it's, what is the ultimate Gen X song of all time?
Oh, for fuck's sake. This is too hard for me. I can't do it. Because there are phases of Gen X, like we could go to grunge,
Yes.
or Smells Like Teen Spirit, which is totally obvious, or we could go
Yes.
back a little bit to the 80s and try to think of like what was going on there. I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on that one. If I think of something by the end of the podcast, or
Yeah.
I will shout it out. But I'm
We won't
just
judge you, and you can list more than one song. I will give
like
you one of
like
my
if it's
personal.
queer, we're gonna go to Erasure, right? Or Small Town Boy. If it's metal, it could be something else. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's just so
Yes.
much going on and so many different genres
Right? It
and
was before media consolidation, so the radio could have a breadth of genres like it doesn't quite have today. And it also, Lawrence and I, from asking people this question, have realized there's like early, mid, and late Gen X answers. Like I think we're mid Gen X, right?
Yeah,
like
I'm 68. I'm an old
Okay,
bird.
we're 70. So
yeah. Well, we're all in the same realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But folks
Somebody
who were born in
posted "relax, go to it," and I was like, yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Can we
That's-
take a beat for Frankie Goes to Hollywood? Because if you've listened to that album again, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, it is by far one of the it has not only retained its sound quality and relevance, but those songs are every bit as resonant today as they were in the 80s.
You know what? I need to go back and listen to it again because it's been ages since
forever.
we grew up listening to entire albums, right? It's like you were saying just a couple minutes ago, and these, this generation is like, oh, I like this song and this song and this song, and I'm putting them in a playlist. And I mean, we made mixtapes to do that, but the experience of like you listen to an entire album from beginning to end to get the, artist's kind of intent.
Yeah.
I don't know that we do that as much anymore.
No, we don't. And I'll give you a prime example of it happening in today's culture. Like last night, I went to see Renee Rapp, who I was drawn to because of her voice. Her voice speaks to me. I heard a song of hers that moved me tremendously. My kids did not put me onto her. I found her. I actually saw her on Mean Girls on Broadway with my kid. And then years later, here she is with this tremendous voice and these albums. And so I wanted to see what her live show was about. And my only issue with her, she has the potential to be truly great. Madison Square Garden was filled with teenage girls losing their shit, loving her badass attitude. I love how irreverent and non-media trained she is because she just pops off on shit and just wants to make her music and kind of be left alone, which respect. She doesn't play the game the way that other people do, but she plays the game. You know what I mean? She leverages her edge, which is wise. But her songs are all great. She's a brilliant songwriter, but there's no through line. Like I felt like I want her to create a piece of work, not just release an album of songs. And I think that if she were to do that, that would elevate her to the next level that she needs to be at. Anyway, thanks for letting me spout off on that. But
No, I mean, honestly,
how that generation can, one song could be Beyonce's song, one song could be a metal song, one song could be you know what I mean? Like,
I will say yes. And I have this theory. Are your kids teenagers? I have two teens at home. 15
I have
and 17.
18 and 22.
Okay, so slightly older than mine. But I think they're Gen Z. So I think there is a Gen X to Gen Z connection.
Fully.
And I think in large part driven by Taylor Swift, there is a return to a full album experience. I mean, obviously, look what she's doing with marketing all of her records. But
she is better at marketing than anything else.
Yeah.
Except maybe songwriting. But I am a huge fan now, and it was we could probably do a whole episode on my like internalized Gen X cooler than thou I can't possibly like her or take her seriously. She's just a Pop-Tart. And then my kids brought her into the house, and I was like, okay, well, this song's pretty good. Okay, well, this song's pretty good. And by the time I hit All Too Well, I was like, all right, that's like the best song I've ever heard in my life. And
she's a brilliant songwriter.
Yeah, I am full on
taking anything away from that.
Yeah. And, but like the way I see my kids, and especially my youngest, like pour over vinyl. And it's not even about listening to it. It's exploring the liner notes. But they certainly listen to the whole album. They're listening to it digitally because they don't want to sit in their room and play a record necessarily. But I think she can be credited. I think safely she can be the one credited for the rebirth of vinyl. And I'm noticing a lot of this, mostly women who have come up either because of her through they've opened for her and now they're famous themselves, or, the Billie Eilishes and the Chapel Roans and the Abajubies and Mitskis. Like, my kids need the vinyl, and they do listen to the whole thing.
So cool.
I feel like that is part of the Gen X to Gen Z connection. I mean, for sure, there are songs that they just here and there listen to, but they know the difference between an early Billie Eilish song and her new record because they listen to it in its totality. And I think they have a really sophisticated taste that we didn't have. Like Billie Eilish is like Portishead, right? Like that was like, she's
kind of, yeah, that's a really good analogy. And I agree wholeheartedly, Dana. Good one.
Thank you. Let's talk about fun, because I've read.
Okay.
So I put one of yours. I know that sounds very, very broad, but
Woohoo!
woo! I'm putting this link back in here. This isn't actually to your publication. You put this on Oldster, which
Yeah.
is another Substack publication, but it's a story that resonated with me so deeply because we are right about the same age. And the older this is, so I have a theory, Lawrence knows about this, that one day I'm going to write about and write a book about and haven't done yet. But it's my theory of responsible hedonism. This is the first time I'm saying these words out publicly. And the idea, it came about many years ago because my boyfriend at the time, and it was, post-divorce, so not that many years ago, but he said, I was going out that night and he was like, "You're like a hedonist," because of my love for fun. And I was like, if I'm a hedonist, I'm the most responsible hedonist I've ever met. And then I was like, those are actually my people. They're the people who like get shit done. They've got their jobs, they've got the roof over their heads, they're taking care of their own shit. They're not dependent on anybody else, whatever their needs are, whether they have a massive house and, very extravagant needs, or they live on a yurt on the beach. Like, they are taking care of their shit, but they are also prioritizing fun, which in our culture, at least, as you get older, fun, when you're like 20 something, people are like, go out, have a good time of your life, you're young. And that instinct goes away as you get older and it becomes irresponsible, right? And I maintain that if you don't stay connected to what you think is fun and what brings you joy, whether that's staying at home and reading books in bed or going to see Renee Rapp or, getting into comedy or karaoke or hikes, whatever it is, if you don't stay connected to your fun and to your joy, then like, what the fuck are you even doing here?
Well, that's what that whole piece is about.
Yes.
That's what that whole piece is about.
That's why
It's
I read
about
it and I was like, she is a responsible hedonist. So,
100%. I think I'm a poster girl for it. I mean, it's
yes.
just always what I do and always how I've lived. And I don't feel like, when I'm 57, I am not dead.
I loved that headline.
That line was, yeah.
I still love I think deep down, we're all the same person that we were when we were 12, when we were 22, when we were 32. And the things that gave us pleasure then tend to fall by the wayside. I think people also, fiscal responsibility has a lot to do with it. It's like no joke to pay a kid's college tuition.
Jesus, mine's a senior. Let's talk offline.
You can. I'm happy to walk you through it because I've been through it twice now.
We're in the throes of getting ready, but yeah.
It's a real special amount of debt that you can get into.
It's another joy of being American, isn't it?
Yeah, sucks.
What, you didn't save $300,000 per kid? That's weird. I've just got it in the bank.
I'm a writer. I'm a professional writer.
Right.
Yeah.
The only profession that has experienced an income dip over the past 20 years of 80%.
God damn.
I get paid 80% less than I got paid, typically, like if you're going by pitching magazines and places.
Yeah. Can't we just have AI do it?
That's not how you make any fucking money. But this is even before AI. This is like,
well, because then it was like the 19-year-old intern who would do it for, a hot dog and $1.50.
Exposure, Lawrence. Don't you want
Right,
the
blogs murdered culture journalism. I mean, it was all started like at the, probably around 2006 when Ariana Huffington decided to let people write for free on the Huffington Post and people lined up to fucking do it.
Yeah, I loved your piece on this where you asserted that really what ends up happening is people end up shopping for the culture opinion that matches what they already think, right?
Well, that was something that the New York Times reported on that I, credited and regurgitated in my piece to support my point, which is, my piece was asking, like, what's better? Do you want to hear someone who challenges your POV with their own, who's really solid in it? Or do you want to just find somebody online who is regurgitating what it is that you already feel and think. And I think it's some kind of combination of both. I think there's benefit to challenging someone else's point of view with your own.
Yeah.
And I think what GenX brings to the table in that, which is unique, is context. Like, I have the levity of 30 years, 40 years being out in the world as an adult I know what shows influenced the shows that are on now from the 80s, the 90s, the
Exactly.
pops, and I can think about that immediately without having to Google and like fake it.
The Billie Eilish that sounds like Portishead. Like, it's not that hard to
that was a
connect the
perfect
dots back.
example.
Yeah.
Perfect example you gave, Dana. And that was a really good one because I hadn't thought of that one, and you're 100%.
Thank you.
Right.
I bet her parents played Massive Attack and Mezzanine was on in the background.
Mezzanine is the best record ever, by the way.
It's a really good one. But that whole kind of dream pop 90s, seductive, what all of us fell for in our mid-20s,
Oh, yeah, like seductive whisper woman singing.
Yeah.
Beneath, like an electronic track, and then, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm
It's
really
all formula.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I mean, if it's, Billie Eilish is like, we're very big fans in this house too. Like,
Oh, no, I love her. I think she's great, and I think she's got a tremendous amount of talent and a really beautiful, beguiling, unique voice that she knows how to use for her benefit. And she understands who she is, who her audience is, and what her brand is.
Yep.
Yet she's able to be incredibly creative within those parameters, which is what we like.
It is remarkable. I want to go back one step to talking about the 80% pay cut for writers and just sort of the writing ecosystem right now. So I'm someone who I think was I can't really write, frustrated writer for decades, who only now is coming into my creative power, like the last not even 3 years as a writer. So I started on Medium. Yeah, I mean, I'm a like content manager, marketing, content comms person at work. But the idea, like, I write memoir and sort of cultural observation, starting on Medium and on Substack now, and ventured out last year, set a goal of like, I want to get published and got published in a few national publications.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But that's all fallen off because now I just podcast with Lawrence every day. because
That's a lot of work.
Time.
A lot of work.
It is. I'm dressed like this because I'm heading to my big full-time job right after this. So here's a question for you. How have platforms like Medium and Substack influenced the writer ecosystem? We know AI is like, we know rates for magazines have gone down, and I think you correctly identified that Huffington Post being like, they'll do it for free, really tanked writers' net worth and blogging. But now we're having these platforms where writers have this sort of Wild West or manifest destiny, right? Go find your audience, go figure out how to make money. How has that influenced either the ecosystem or you as a writer?
It hasn't, because I've come into this game knowing who I am. I was an established blogger. I was an established podcaster. I've been writing about culture for a very, very, very long time, and I know how to. I always appreciate kind words when people read my stuff and it seems to resonate with them. But you have to understand, like Lawrence said, like I've been doing this forever. So the more you do it, the better you get at it. And it's great to be able to come into there's so much to learn every single day that you do it. And I am not ashamed to say that even after doing this, like different platforms require different approaches and there's a lot to learn. But Substacking is blogging, and I had a blog that had a following. So it was easy for me to kind of slip back into that and fun, honestly. But the downside to it, and I love Substack. I think it's great, but it's also an income stream. It's also very, very saturated space. So it's hard for people to find your work and retain loyal readers because it's saturated. There's so much out there. So the way I approach it, it's fun, but it's more work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is a business, This is a business. I got tuition to pay. So,
right. I just put the link in the chat. I'm going to put it in again just because why not? Go
Thank
subscribe.
you. Thank you.
Go
Yeah.
follow, go
Guys,
Please go
subscribe.
subscribe to Vivian.
8 subscribers get my undying gratitude. Because it's, it is work. And I think that that's the hard thing that a lot of people don't realize. And so when you get into the space of trying to monetize it, it becomes even more difficult because it's like knowing when to monetize it, knowing what to monetize, knowing what to offer paid subscribers is a whole
Oh, sure. It's
mindset in and of itself, right? So it depends on what you want to get out of Substack, and it depends on what you want to put into it. So I think there's a space for everybody to do it, and it's just figuring out who you are in that space that I think is the challenge for a lot of people.
yeah. And we've heard that there are changes coming. So,
Yeah.
there's going to be some kind of ad network that's going to roll out, but it's probably going to roll out to purples and orange check marks first.
Right.
So,
I can't
presumably
even get a fucking check mark, by the way. How'd you get a check mark? Because I think I deserve a check.
we
We
did a
3
summer
months.
pledge drive where we literally begged people incessantly for the entire summer. Like we did a massive discount, and we
We
begged
did dumb
people.
challenges.
Yeah, like we literally begged people to sign up and become paid subscribers because we originally we had heard that you got additional functionality when you got a check mark, and what we found is you don't really.
Not really.
And then there's the little game of like, am I on the bestsellers list, and what number am I ranking at today, which really comes down to a function of, did you publish something new recently, like within the last 24 to 48 hours? And did you get a paid subscriber or multiple paid subscribers in the last 24 or 48 hours? And if that answer is yes, then you have a decent chance of showing up on the charts somewhere.
Oh, and we think that's my hunch is that's not going to last long. Like we were on the new bestsellers chart, for a week. And I've charted in parenting and in culture. GenX has charted in culture. Lawrence was like, you were like the number 3 in fiction writing.
I was number 3 in fiction for a
you
while.
Were beating Armistead both times. It was amazing.
That's wonderful.
So there's really, because they have like their bestsellers, and then they have Rising. And Rising, they're looking for momentum, right? Lawrence, your internet connection's unstable like our democracy.
I know. I feel like we're a little like our democracy. Nice.
It was a spontaneous blurt on the side of the highway the first time I said it. Like literally, I was driving on the the Turnpike in Florida, and I pulled over because I wanted to go live about something, and I got that error message, and I was in Florida, so I was like, it was extra on my mind about how unstable our democracy is.
Thanks, Jason. Someone subscribed.
Yes.
I'm like,
you gotta subscribe.
So yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, please.
To finish the thought of that Substack, you have to write. Obviously, it's a writing platform, but it really requires like marketing chops, intuition, and just, I don't know, being a detective. Like Lawrence and I are always really transparent about what we uncover. I mean, we've only been at this for 6 months on the platform. We just crossed 5 months of podcasting, but we've been podcasting 6 days a week.
Like, yeah, it's consistency. It's feeding. You have to feed the machine. Like, my son is a very successful YouTuber.
Good for him. We may hit him up because that's next.
Yeah.
It's our next frontier.
He's brilliant, but he knows who his audience is, and he also understands he's under a lot of pressure. It's not easy. It's not an easy job. You have to constantly feed the algorithm.
Right.
Because if you don't feed the algorithm, and I tend to be very Gen X about it, which is, but I want to go out and like do something. Like I don't necessarily want to, and I have to get paid for what I do. So I try to be judicious about, I put time and I put a lot of effort into my Substack, but to a point. Like I also need to pitch publications, and I also need to write my column, and I also need to do other things that are going to put food on the table, because there are only finite amount of hours in a week, and I don't like working on weekends. So there's,
yeah,
I'm very millennial about my boundaries. I've learned that.
I'm becoming millennial about my boundaries, but it took like 30 years in corporate America to basically like beat that out of me.
Yeah.
Like years of working for big corporations has made me finally hit the point where I'm like, enough. You got like it's literally never enough. Fine, I actually have boundaries now. Fuck you. I'm not doing this on the weekend.
Mhm. It's
Right.
like you can kind of put that boundary up with a little smile and like a little wink at like a Law Roach shrug, like,
Yeah, I
sorry,
said what
not
I
sorry,
said.
bitch.
I said what I said.
Oh my gosh.
I want to ask you about, so you had feels about the end of And Just Like That. You wrote an article about it. Um, you were dissatisfied with the ending, or at least my perception of your article was that maybe you weren't thrilled overall with how the entire trajectory of And Just Like That went. And
Oh,
like,
I outlined everything that I thought. Yeah. It's like, this is how I would have written. But listen, like one of my favorite writers in the world is in that writer's room, Sam Irby, who's written
oh,
numerous wonderful books. And she's brilliant. And I think she's responsible for the laughs that I got on that season. But I think what it was we needed more Sams in the room to
yeah,
kind of really inject some fresh life into it. And it did end in a way like we got the rug pulled out from under it. I mean, they have a built-in audience that is so devout and so powerful, and they did achieve their goal in that we're all still talking about it. I mean,
right.
that's right. It's like Gossip Girl, it's like as long as somebody's talking about you, whether it's good or bad, you're still relevant if somebody's talking about you. And I think that
right.
they reached their goal with that. I think a lot of people, there was a little bit of internalized ageism, and I think a lot of critics and writers who were charged to write about it were either young gay men or young women who were like, "Where's the sex?" And I'm like, "How many fucking menopausal women do you know? Like, come on. We
Yeah.
still get laid, but it's like different." You know what I mean? And they tried to address a lot of things authentically, but did it in a way that at first they were like cramming all the cliches down our throat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then I felt like that could have been gentler. It's kind of like we don't have to announce we're middle-aged when we're middle-aged. You're just middle-aged. Like, can't you just move through the world? Like, if they had approached it a little bit more like a British comedy, I think it would have. I loved the camp aspect of it, though. Like, some people were saying, I was just talking to someone the other day who said it was too much through Michael Patrick King's decidedly campy lens.
Right.
And I think there's some validity to that. But I fucking love that though.
I will admit I haven't watched it yet, and I kind of spot watched Sex and the City when it was on air, like would come and go. But
Yeah.
when it came back on Netflix, my 17-year-old, my older daughter, like inhaled the series. I was shocked at how much she loved it, and so she rewatched it with me. So I have finally, at the right age of I think 54, finished the series last year, or maybe it was actually this year. I don't know, but we watched the whole thing through. I feel like I could write a dissertation on how much remains and how much has changed since that
Mhm.
show came out. But obviously, like, just beloved. Like, every character is wonderful. Every character is flawed, as we all are. And when it came to And Just Like That, first of all, I don't have HBO Max, so I wasn't able to watch it
Mm.
without seeking something out. And I haven't done it yet, but I wanted to get your take on it.
Mhm.
I read a ton of criticism, and at the beginning, especially, and was like, "Oh, I don't know that I want to revisit these characters in a negative light." And then I was like, "Is it not good, or do people just not want to watch 50-something women on TV, or is it somewhere in the middle?"
Well, that's what my piece was about, right? Like,
Yeah.
how much is our internalized ageism to blame for the fact
Yes.
that that show did not got panned by a lot of people? And I think that it
Right.
plays a huge part in it. Um, but also, I think what it is there's a we live very rich lives with
Mhm.
tons to talk about.
Yes.
But I think there's always been the dissonance and struggle where, I mean, only 9% of characters on television are over 50 and are women.
Yeah.
So, we're always the grandmother or the matriarch or like in service to somebody or some bullshit like that. Or like the older, wiser woman in the break room who like doles out the wisdom. I mean, even Tina on The Bear, right, who is one of our most beloved characters in our age group, we're allowed to visit her trajectory, but we're not, the show isn't centered around it, right?
Oh, yeah,
It's
for sure.
centered around a guy in his early 30s
Yep.
having a mental breakdown and dealing with the loss of his brother and all of that.
Yep.
I'm very grateful to the writers of The Bear for being inclusive and including her POV and giving her a few episodes and letting us get to know her and love her the way that we do, to the tune of like Liza Kulanze-Us getting all of these incredible nominations for her performance, because she's a brilliant actor and she deserves the work.
Yeah.
But I think what Hacks is teaching us very successfully is you can have a show centered around an older woman and ageism and have it be written in a way that is hilarious and resonant and poignant, because you root for Deborah Vance every single step of the way.
Right.
And I think that was the approach, that a little bit of that approach to End Just Like That could have turned it into something different.
Okay.
Well, and you made a really
Yeah. Sorry, Lawrence.
you made a really great point in your article that like the glory of the show in its original form was about the relationship between these four women. And I loved what you said, that the city was the fifth girlfriend, right?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
Right.
and all of that was kind of missing from And Just Like That. Like,
Yeah.
they were still, I mean, there's the whole Samantha thing, but like, they're friends, but it wasn't celebrating the friendship in the same way
No.
that it used to.
Exactly. And it showed the fissures in those friendships, which of course is like, but then they would drop that thread. Like they're all season, this last season, there was tension between Miranda and Carrie. And in the end, Carrie was the one who showed up for Miranda. But and maybe that was their way of resolving it. But I really don't feel like, would they? All season I wanted them to live together. When Miranda was I'm like, can we just get to the part where they live together?
Right.
And let them have fun before it falls apart. But like
Right.
immediately it's like, you took my banana, you took my yogurt. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's not how a 50-something-year-old woman
Right. For real.
behaves. And like, we get that Carrie is a widow and she's used to having her own space. And like, look, these are very real things that happen to people. But I think their relationship didn't feel authentic to the history of their relationship. It's kind of like, I don't know, it felt weird. It felt
It all comes
and
back to what
characters do have the right to evolve, but it's like, did they evolve in this way? I think viewers had a hard time buying that they did.
I mean, honestly, I think you
Sorry,
just put the finger on it for me. Yeah, sorry, Dana, but but I'm excited about this. I y- I don't think they evolved in the ways that I think real humans would evolve, right? Like that's the piece that didn't feel resonant to me. Was, I don't know. Like, I guess people can disappoint you, but this isn't the way in which I imagined that each of them would necessarily evolve. So that
well, and also there's pacing, which I think was a huge issue. If you try to do too much as a writer in a story, it's going to show, and you're going to leave a lot undone and unsaid. The Bear is a great example of how you can create a small moment show, entire 20-minute narrative about a single afternoon or an hour in a room, and blow up those emotions and affect people and tell an entire story within that. And I'm not saying In Just Like That should have taken that approach, but what I am saying is it would have helped them to blow up some of the smaller moments and give us more of an emotional connection with the characters.
absolutely.
Yes, because they're characters we're all already so attached to. So to close on, should I watch it?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so it's worth watching. It's not going to. It's sort of like people who are like, don't view the dead body at the funeral because you won't remember them alive. You'll remember them dead. I don't want to remember them as like caricatures of themselves. Part of me just wants to, because I just saw it too. Like I want to remember
Yeah.
the
You
narrative
know
arc
what?
as it ended beautifully at the end of Sex and the City. But
Mhm. If
but
you can get through the first 3 episodes of And Just Like That,
yeah,
commit. If you can't get through the first 3 episodes, wave goodbye. That's
okay,
my
I'll
because
keep
it's
that.
so radically different in the beginning, and the first season was a lot of stumbling in the night to try to navigate the death of Big and all of these other major plot points that change the trajectory of Carrie's life and how everybody reacts to it, right?
Yeah,
So, if you can get through the first 3, Dana, I think you'll be okay. But
okay.
I'm one of those people that, like, if I'm committed to a character, I will see them
Yeah.
through for better or worse.
Got it. Okay, I will keep that in mind. And the other thing that came to mind for me was when we were talking about 9% of characters being Gen X women, or older women. That's kind of what we're doing here, right, Lawrence? This is why we're showing up every morning. Is
Yeah.
so without inflating our worth here, of a like people need to see like Gen X faces on the internet who are not steeped in nostalgia only, who are
Right.
still vibrant, thinking, creative contributors.
And not
Um,
afraid of technology.
and not afraid of technology and politically aware and trying to influence the narrative of how people perceive Gen X, because so much of what you see online, and gosh, we haven't even dug into the whole idea of like no one writes about us correctly. Right? We're represented as like wah, wah, nobody ever sees me. We're a slacker generation, or like, don't you remember the music of the '80s? We had the best music, and
But
then
you're doing it now, Dana. You're
it's
doing
like,
it with the show and you're doing
yeah,
it through your Substack. And you know why that problem is because we don't get hired to write about ourselves. They hire a
exactly.
30-year-old to write about us.
Right. You talked
So,
about that
and if
placebo
the
reference.
editor
I
in
was
chief
laughing
of a
so hard.
publication is 35, they are going
Yes,
to hire their peers or the people who are just below them who are generally perceive as younger people. They don't take into account people like yourself who are having a second life and who really want to realize this dream that they've had for a long time they may not have been able to realize, or there are fewer doors open to us, so we have to create our own spaces. And that's what I tried to do with Motherfucked, to get our voices out there and hopefully find people like us who can appreciate what the hell we're trying to say. And I think what you guys are doing, I give you both applause. Like, this is tremendous. And you've created a space with every day that is such a huge commitment. And
Well,
and
not
except for
not
Sunday.
Sundays, but
not Sundays, but
6
you
days
know
a
what I
week.
mean. Like, even if you do Monday through Friday, like whatever, you
Yeah.
guys love having these conversations, and they're so important, especially now if we're going to make platforms for ourselves,
Right.
because that's kind of what we have to do. I'm lucky enough that I can get work placed in publications because of the history of my work and the clips I've accumulated. And I put the work in, right? It's what you do.
Yeah.
It's what I do for a fucking living. It's not like I just started doing this. But even so, there are so many talented writers out there. And if they want to mine their experience and present a more, shall we say, seasoned Gen X point of view, I don't think that has no value. And I think that's the message that we're receiving a lot of times, because we're not allowed to write about our own experience.
Yeah.
Like, there was one essay in Vogue that was like, "My mom's a Gen Xer and she's real cool." And,
That was
you
the
know,
placebo story, right? Where
she
she,
introduced me to placebo. That's what I took offense to. And I can
oh,
tell you did
Right. You're
too.
like, what?
there was a Liz Fair last year, 2 years, no, 2 years ago, toured Exile in Guyville. Her like
I
opus.
interviewed her for that for the
Oh my
I
God, really?
yeah.
Amazing.
My original name for my Substack was Letters and Sodas because of the song "Fucking One."
Oh, I
I want
love
all
that
like stupid old
song.
shit like Letters and Sodas, like the impact of Exile in Guyville on all of us, but like personally was just massive. And our local free weekly alternative paper here, The Stranger, they sent some like 28-year-old to go review the show, and she was like, people were older and no one was dancing or singing along, and I was like, okay, I don't know where you were singing, but everyone around me sang along with every song. And also, like, shut up. Why did you hire this person to review like the quintessential Gen X woman album, right? Like,
well, I have to give
I
the
like
cut
that you
their
almost said
flowers
quintessential.
because they sent me out there and I had a blast. And the first thing I opened with in meeting Liz, now mind you, full disclosure, I used to work for her attorney in another life.
Oh, wow.
So I have a lot of mutual friends who actually know Liz quite well. And I've been around the block a million times and I've been in entertainment for a long time. So I know people. And right out the gate, I was like, look, Liz, we're the same age. Like,
right.
very similar life. And it was really, I think, made for a great interview because I was able to speak to things that someone who really didn't understand what it was like to be in your 20s in the 90s didn't understand. Like, they couldn't understand what she was up with against in the music business at that time in a way that I could because I was fucking there and I was doing it too. It's like, that's the thing. There's value to having been there.
Yes. And our relationship to the dreamy, mopey men and wanting to be the, like, you're not like other girls, cool girl. And also the resentment and pain that kid, like, so much, we've done so much work since then. But if you go back and listen to that record, you're like, oh, honey, she was sort of one of the first voices of, like, I was standing 6'1" instead of 5'2", and I love my life, and I hated you. Like, it's like the ultimate, like, get the fuck out of here breakup song. Like, when I'm feeling like this much heartache, like, that's the first album that goes on every time.
Liz is the gift that keeps on giving, and she's so lovely, and she was so nice. You'll be glad to know, and we had a wonderful conversation. We really hit it off, and she,
it was such an insult to send someone who didn't understand the impact of that record or the 30 years that had passed to review it. I was so
happy to get that assignment. I was like,
who did you write that one for?
The Cut.
Nice.
So let's give them props for understanding that, like, I brought something to that Q&A that someone else wasn't going to bring.
Yeah.
And I give them a lot of credit for that. I really, I love that magazine so much. They've done such amazing things with it. And so as long as they'll give me a chance, I keep trying to write for them.
Oh my gosh.
But you never know. Like, being a writer is rejection, and I get rejected constantly. I just want you guys all to know, like, if I can give any writerly advice, like, I get rejected every single day. I get ghosted every single day. It's not even relationships that I've had for a very long time. Editors are so busy, they don't have a chance to reply. And now, as journalists and as editors, you have to be a personality. You have to be on camera. You have to create these reels that are like, hi, well, when I first started, investigating perfect phrases, I decided to look into, I don't know, like, you just come up, I'm looking at a book.
No, for sure. Right. You've got to write the article, and then you've got to do, like, the meta commentary on your article, and then the meta commentary of, it's, yeah.
It's a lot of unfucking paid work. It's so much unpaid work. Now my job is like 60% unpaid work, 40% paid work. More, I would say 70% unpaid,
So that probably
makes it harder to earn a living. In case any of you listeners are thinking that being a writer is glamorous, this is just part of the, see shit.
Right. What, don't I just show up and put my things on Substack and then people pay me? Isn't that how it works?
No, fuck no, dude. Fuck no.
I have spent like entire Saturdays on Substack and been like, that took so long to do so little. Like,
yeah.
Right.
And of course, none of it paid. Like, it's just trying to build a thing. Oh my gosh, and we are over time.
We're so over time. But we're so grateful.
Talk forever. I've got to go get my kids to school.
Oh my God, Dana, I'm so sorry. I'm just...
No. Do not apologize. This has been a blast.
Please come back and talk to us again in the future.
Oh my God, please have me back. I would love to come back. You guys are both so delightful. And I'm so, so happy to have met you, like, face to face. Oh my gosh. I love chatting with you. You're both brilliant. And so I'm really loving what you're doing here. And thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really grateful.
The feeling is so mutual. Thanks to everyone in our chat.
Yeah, thanks, chatters.
Yeah, we got 112 folks in here today. Look at you all.
Yeah, we got a good turnout. All right, motherfucked. Vivian, thank you so much.
Love you, meeting everybody.
Bye, everybody. Love you. Bye.